This is the Player One podcast with Josh and Sam, where life is one big game, and we are Player One.
It certainly is.
Episode 3, baby. I made some hype about this the other day, and for good reason. So you stick around, and you'll see. This is one of these episodes where we're going to go through some shit, and it's kind of one of those things that you don't really need to listen to the shit, but you want to listen to how we talk about it afterwards. Do you know what I mean? So we're going to drop a few bombs. It's a bit of bad news, but I'm going to show you how the Player One mindset works towards the end. Yeah, you're going to see how we think about a problem and how we face it afterwards. So, oh shit.
Smooth operator.
But we actually did, if you've seen David Goggins put up a post today saying like first 100 people to slide into his DMs or whatever, and you'll call you. And we've had 2 calls come through so far where I'm like, oh shit, is it Dave? Is it Dave Goggins? So if he does like interrupt this podcast, you better believe we'll put him on loudspeaker so you can hear.
100%.
That'd be sick. What would you want him to say?
I just
What would you want? Because you get that one chance. Like, what are you going to say to him? You know.
I think obviously it's a blessing to be able to communicate with someone with that kind of mindset first of all, and then I just ask them questions based on.
Let's say you've got 2 minutes. He says you can ask one question each. What are you asking him?
Okay, on the spot, I haven't thought about this. I would say I'm someone very motivated with a lot of great goals in front of me. What do you see as obstacles, and how would you say I could overcome them mentally in my quest to become a world champion and to do these other things? That'll be one question. I'd say also, what's his thought on, because I know he's very no bullshit, like to the extreme. I'd say, what's his thought on simulation theory? What's his thought on the universe and all these things and seeing it and
because he's a religious man as well, you know.
Yeah, he is, and he's also very strict in his thought process.
That's true.
Yeah, so
because he says, yeah, there's a God, but God's not going to help me do shit. I'm going to do it myself.
So I'll see I wonder what he would have to say about that simulation theory.
Selfishly relinquish my own question and say, what would you give our listeners right now? You're live, Goggins. What are you going to say to the listeners? They're all listening.
That's a great one.
Anyway, all right. So what's the bomb? What's the bomb we're going to drop? The bomb we're going to drop is, well, it's sort of like the whole reason we sort of started doing this. We started doing it obviously because we have this Player One mindset, but something happened maybe 6 months ago now, and I'm going to drop the bomb and then I'm going to explain it. So basically, 6 months ago, I got diagnosed with a pre-cancerous giant cell tumour in my leg, my left leg. So for the last 6 months, I've been living with this massive tumour in my leg, and I only found it because I was training for a fight, and in mid-training, I started doing these big trail runs, and I just kind of tweaked it a little bit, didn't think nothing of it. So I went in to do some physio for 6 weeks, and then, man, my physio was like rubbing it, thinking it was like a knot. So he's been like just smashing this tumour, and then he's like, dude, it's not going down. Like 6 weeks, it wasn't going down. So he's like, you got to get an MRI. Just bite the bullet. It costs you a bit of money, but you got to go do it. So I do it. It cost me like $400. Go to this MRI, and then I'm about to walk out, and then I'm like, okay, cool. Like we had to do it twice. I'm like, all right, whatever. It's done. I guess I'll get the results when I get them. And I go to walk out, and then these doctors come bursting through the doors, and she's like, Josh Gazzardi, where are you? And I'm like, oh yeah, that's me. And she's like, we need you back here now. And I go back, and there's 3 doctors just standing there, and they're just communicating, like talking about my results, and I'm like a kid standing there on the outside, like, let me know what's happening. And they're talking about my brain and my chest, my heart, and I'm like, it's my leg. And he's like, oh, it's okay, just sit down, we'll talk to you in a sec. And I'm confused. I'm like, what is this? And then they bring me back in to this like full body CT scan. And it's sort of, if you can picture a hospital room with like a bed, and they've got the windows, you know, those open-ended windows where they've got the machines, and they're looking on one side, and I'm in this room. I'm like, what's happening? And they put me through a big CT scan to scan my heart and my brain to see if it would like spread. And I had no idea what was going on right now. And then after that, he's like, okay, cool, we've got your results. You might want to go we send them to your GP. Just go to your GP. So I go there straight after, and then he looks at him and he goes, "Oh shit." He's like, "You gotta go to hospital now." And I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "It's my leg. Like I just got a torn ligament or something in my leg." And he's like, "Yeah, okay, just you go to hospital and they'll tell you." So I go to hospital, 5 p.m. and I sit in the emergency room for 11 hours straight. I get in there at 5 p.m. and I get admitted 4 a.m. the next day. And then I walk in, I'm tired, I'm like, "What's going on?" And then she goes, "You might need to have a nap. The surgeon gets in at 6. I'm like, "All right." Try and have a nap, and there's this heroin addict next door trying to punch through my wall and going nuts, screaming, couldn't sleep. I finally doze off for 20 minutes, and then I get woken up by this Asian orthopedic surgeon, and he goes, Josh, wake up." I'm like, "Oh shit, what's going on?" And he walks in with 3 other doctors, and he's like, "I'm sorry to say, but there's a very real chance you have cancer." And I'm like, "Fuck." I'm like, "What?" And he goes, "I'm gonna let you sit with it. I'll be back." And then he just walked out. And I'm like, sitting there like, nah, no way. Like, this doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, you hear about it all the time, but I'm like, nah, this isn't me. And I didn't believe it. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, oh shit. I'm looking around like in this hospital. I'm like, oh no. Like, I wouldn't be here if this wasn't some truth to it, you know? And I'm like, fuck. My first thought was, you're a liar, which is sort of weird to think that a surgeon would even lie to you. Number 2 was, holy shit. I'm like, what? And then number 3 was, I got to travel. I just got to travel. I got to go. I haven't done anything yet. Like, I thought I had time, you know? I thought I had a minimum of a average life, you know? I thought I had till 86. But then I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, in my head, I'm like, all right, I've got 2 years. I don't know why. No one said that to me. I just said, I've got 2 years. And I'm like, what am I going to do for my next 2 years, you know? And that's one of those thoughts that everyone should kind of have anyway. Because you don't know, you're not promised. No one knows when that time, that little ticking bomb inside your chest is going to pop, you know? It's all inside of all of us. It's going to pop some stage. We just don't know when.
And you can really, at any point, you can go. You never know when, you never know how. And it's honestly, those of us, and the way you've approached it in terms of considering yourself lucky to have something like this, in terms of opening your mind and reinforcing like that, okay, the time is precious, we got to move, we got to act now, is amazing. Because when you look at it as a blessing, it really shows, it's a testament to your mindset, your strong mindset. Because what you got to experience was the whole, because obviously you've told me about this and I thought on it myself, and I'm like, how do I deal with this? I'm like, Josh can handle this himself. I'm like, I'm just obviously going to support in whatever way I can, but it's not, for some other people I'd really try to push and talk about it, let's work, but I know everyone has their own ways of solving it. So you got to experience something that very few people do. Like, I might not be here anymore. That's such a real feeling to have, to feel to yourself and to understand I may not be around. And then on the plus side, you also got, you've got, I'm sure that there's more you have to say on it, but what a benefit.
Yeah. I admit, and I appreciate you, because I'm one of those guys that, very unfortunately, I guess, in hindsight, but I just don't talk, you know? I got things that happen and I just bottle it up. I've always done that. And I trusted myself for 3 months. I didn't tell a soul. I didn't tell anybody this happened. Nobody, not my family, no one. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Am I trying to be a hero? What am I trying to do? I just needed time to process it myself and how I was gonna do it. And then when I started thinking, oh shit, I've got 2 years, I'm like, all right, I've got to talk about it. I've got to let someone know. So I trusted myself with, I can count it on my hand, 5 people. I trusted 5 people that I would tell, and that would be it. I would tell these 5 people just to get it off my chest, and really just for me to process it. So I would tell them, I would trust them with it, and they didn't tell a soul. And obviously, Sam, you're one of them. And I appreciate that you didn't tell anyone, because I just need my own time to do it, you know? And then I finally realized, all right, a few things have to happen. Number 1, as much as we love Tiki, we love it, and we've done this with over 3 years, almost 4 years. We've achieved some incredible things.
We've learned so much from running it, and it's a story we haven't even put out on the podcast properly, but we'll talk about more in depth of what we've learned through Tiki, what we're continuing to learn in our own life by engaging in business, because business is going to be something that's a part of both of our lives in whatever form or shape or whatever it is in the future.
Absolutely.
And us engaging at that point in time was so pivotal, was so vital to me, because understanding that money can be made for yourself, and if you can work for yourself and acquire money in whatever way, and then why not do so?
Exactly. So at the moment, we've decided to put the brakes on it. Not to say that we're not going to come back in a different form and a new reinvented Tiki, which we've got some ideas already going. But yeah, we will definitely put a break to it. We're going to do our last little giveaway in a few months. In the next couple of weeks. Just clear out all the stock, help out all the fighters that we can that have supported us over the years.
100%.
Because they're really our main goal is to we're fighters ourselves, and
that's how it started.
That's what we're about.
It's always been involved in the fight scene, whether Acai or Meals. That's where we've been. That's who we are. It's part of us. So
yeah, exactly. Our heart's there, so we'll support them any way we can. And then I guess number 2 was I'm going to travel. So next year I'm just taking off. I've been saving my monies, keeping my pockets full, and I'm going to leave for a year. I'm going to leave for a year and do my thing and come back a different person for real. And then number 3 was in my own journey to express, because I thought about a few things that Joey Diaz talked about, because he keeps his own diary and he writes in his office every night, and he said that he didn't want because he doesn't tell his daughter anything about his crazy life. And if you know anything about Joey Diaz, you won't understand what I'm saying. But I thought the same thing. I'm like, man, I've got so many thoughts that I really think that can help a lot of people, and I truly believe, and I think a lot differently than most. And I'm like, why am I sharing these things? Why am I trying to bottle things up? What's the use and the benefit? I don't want to be a waste of potential. I don't want to have to like a year from now, that's it, I'm done, and then everything that I had in my head is just stuck there and it's never out. What if there's some things that I can say that might help some people in some sort of way, or maybe this whole play one mindset that maybe not a lot of you have thought about before, that me and Sam are engaging in. This could really be the key to a lot of your problems, this whole mindset and formula, this formula way of thinking.
The way you've just reminded me of something, that's why I'm pulling my phone up. There's a guy named Josh Kesselman, and he posted on Instagram recently. He had a car accident where he's fractured his leg. It wasn't super serious, but the night before his accident, he recorded this video just talking about his ideas of success, because he's a very successful man through, like, if you measure him financially, through business. And he put a caption in, and he said, "I often worry that so much of what I've learned will go when I go. That's why I have to share it while I'm still living."
Yes.
And it's what we touched on when we were talking about the book you recently read, one of the greatest minds, Stephen Hawking, and saying how he had a part in the book saying how he felt the need to preserve what he's learned, the knowledge that he's learned, and just offer what he has to everyone else, because everyone has some little thing to offer. So
exactly, and you don't want to lose it, because once it's gone, that's it. You're never getting it back.
And by the way, Josh Kesselman, the guy I just mentioned, his business, he's the owner and founder of Raw Papers and all those products. Yeah. Cool guy.
Yeah, so all the Stones are going to know exactly what we're talking about. Yeah, you told me he's Australian, isn't he?
I don't know. I don't think he's Australian. I think he's American, yeah.
Oh, he is?
But he's got an interesting ass story as well, like just his own personal life, how he started up. And he's a super eccentric guy, like crazy, classic kind of guy. Funny.
That's sick. They're the characters we need, you know what I mean? And Stephen Hawking says something really important in that book that we said off air one day, that he's like, if you want to spread the seed of knowledge throughout mankind and history, then one of your best bets is to have kids, because they'll preserve your DNA and it will go through, and hopefully some of those ideas and thought patterns will carry on. But he said the second best way, and probably even the most important, because you'll reach more people, is to either put it on paper, write books, or put it on your podcast, and it'll last forever, you know what I mean? So if you want to put these ideas out there to hundreds and thousands and millions of people that might be like, oh shit, like this player one mindset, this is real. Like it can really help in certain ways depending on how you think about it, And let me give you an example, because the minute that this happened and I'm like, oh shit, I've got 2 years left, I can either think about it a few ways. I can either think, why me? I'm healthy, I'm fit, I do the right things, I don't hurt people. But then that's futile. Why are you going to think like this? I'm not a victim in anything. It's giving me a glimpse of my finite lifespan, all of our finite lifespan, and it's given me the best key I could have ever wanted. Like I would have just kept going through thinking I've got all the time in the world, I'm gonna do this when I'm there later. Yeah, what do you mean later? You don't know when time's up. So I really appreciate that this has happened in so many ways. I mean, I get surgery tomorrow, so if you see me limping around for the next 6 weeks, this is why.
He's going to be crip walking everywhere.
Yeah. But this is good because I get surgery tomorrow and I'm going to be, with my books for 6 weeks and doing my thing. But the thing was that the surgeon said that he said, you're never fighting again. He's like, after this happens, your leg, it just won't be the same. You'll never fight again. And at first, I'm like, oh shit. Like it's like my whole life, I just love martial arts. I just can't explain it. And then I'm like, oh shit. All right. And then I thought about it and I'm like, that doesn't mean anything, like what? It's one person's opinion. You let me see if I can't fight again, So that'll be my goal. Once I come back, I'll come back in, and if I can do it, I can do it. If not, I talked to another surgeon and she said, this is where the Western and Eastern mindset really differ, because he says, he's a Western guy, an American, you're never fighting again. You're never fighting again. This Eastern Italian lady, she goes, I don't want to tell my patients they can't do anything. She's like, you can decide for yourself. You try with all your heart, and if you can't, then you can't. And if you can, then that's beautiful. But she says, life is one. Life is one. And she didn't even explain what that meant, life is one. But I guess in hindsight, it just means that life is one journey, Just because this door closes doesn't mean the door of my life is closed, There's other things out there. You can employ these same mindsets to anything. And I think about that a lot with people that have come through, some ex-athletes that were pro surfers and they lose their leg and maybe they can't surf anymore, but they use that same champion mindset to do something else, It's never ending. This mindset is the key to your whole life because, for example, fighting, and we talk about this a lot. Yeah.
But it's because it's what we relate to
exactly.
A lot. It's the best way
we relate to it perfectly. And we always say that you've got a window being a championship fighter because once you get a bit older, the CTE comes real and these young athletes are running through it. So we all know that it's a very finite, short-lived moment of glory in your life. And then it's like, what am I going to do after fighting? Of course, you don't want to have plan B because then you're never really committed, but you have to think about it a little bit. Do you know what I mean? So you want to preserve that mindset and use that championship mindset that you can use after fighting. So you've had a beautiful career in fighting, and now it's like, all right, now what? Am I just going to be that guy that comes around and puts the fist up and do the Kakembo thing, do that, Like I'm not going to be that. Who wants to be that?
That's why something I feel a lot of fighters neglect is the short amount of time that you have as a fighter, as a competitor, because you look at some of the greatest and they're fighting, whether they're champions or not, it's all they do all day, every day. Train, recover, maybe party a little bit. That's what a lot of the fighters are doing, and then they'll win some fights, repeat. That's a very short time. When you're in the moment, you think it's everything. This is my life, but give it 5 to 10 years, and you may not be able to do those things anymore. So if you haven't thought about what's happening next, that's where a lot of high-level fighters fall into a bit of a rut, or high-level athletes in general. You look at some other, there was some high-profile Australian swimmer who was losing his mind after he retired from swimming because there's no more training. What do you do? They can lose direction. So I feel a big part of that is not attaching the championship and the training and everything to the essence of who you are, but the mindset of achievement. Because that way you'll always pick something else to achieve. So you'll say, the fighting's done, what next? For me, some people think it's pretty random, but rock climbing. I love rock climbing, outdoor rock climbing. So I want to give that a big crack, and I want to run a lot, see what I can do running. And then outside of that, because those are also very physical pursuits, business. Like I said, Tiki coming into our lives 3.5 years ago maybe, was massively beneficial because it raised, there was already a spark for business in both of us, but it lit that little fire.
Yeah.
So instantly I know when I'm finished, I'm gonna turn my efforts towards achieving big things in business, building a legacy for family, looking after. Also, we were talking about how people from certain cultures have many benefits when they are 3, 4, 5 generations deep in Australia, like some of my friends, because each preceding generation is passing on the knowledge and the resources to the next generation, and hopefully if they've been taught well and raised well, or raised correctly business wise, and they succeed, so that the family grows stronger with each generational line. And me and you have always looked at ourselves and been like, man, we're first or second generation. So it feels amazing to know that we're going to be people that can have a massive impact on whatever comes after. And it's weird for us 22, 23-year-olds to be thinking about lineage and what happens. But this is just funny. This is shit we talk about all the time. So it's like, I look at, for example, the Italian culture is like I have a lot of respect for a lot of the things that they have in that culture, as with many others in terms of passing on. I got a lot of like friends that are Italian or Lebanese, or they share many similar traits, all these cultures, in terms of passing things down. So you look
Life
at it,
is one. Life is one.
And you figure out that it's the same as reflecting and reviewing, and figuring out that any mistake I make, I don't want to repeat. And on top of that, you apply that to generations. Okay, maybe I've made mistakes in my life. You get to 60, 50. Well, then you pass it on to the next generation, what to do, what not to do. And of course, they'll learn themselves, but they get a little bit of a head start, and next it goes on and on and on. In that, it's like anything.
Well, your dad's a perfect example of
my dad.
Everything we've been talking about lately.
He's like my dad. A lot of people in the community around Melbourne may know my dad because he's one of the teachers in a community school, King Khalid, Australian International Academy in Coburg, and I learned so much from my parents in general, and my dad has always given me little bits of advice on everything, whether it's financial advice on things to avoid, on things to do, on what he might have done wrong, or saying he didn't capitalize on this moment, but I'm not fussed. I want you to capitalize on this when you come across this. So he'll always be dropping all sorts of things, and that's just one massive example of how you can turn your attention towards how to make everything easier. And I guess as a parent, that's a natural instinct to want your kids to, so it's a massive benefit. And then I think back, what about our children that we will end up having one day? It's like, what next? And then their children. Then you think 100 years down the track, you go, what's going to happen then? Who's next? What's happening? Like, it's always.
Well, the other thing is as well is it's a big reason of what the whole podcast is about. That not only will a lot of my core knowledge and gems be passed down throughout my own family and own lineage, but I mean, doing something like this where you can all listen, with family, blood or not, you're going to take these same mindsets where we're trying to carry through. And this is why I just love this whole culture, because I look at my own life, I'm like, a lot of things that, I mean, Joe Rogan's probably the best example, but a lot of things that you've seen on his podcast, you're like, damn, like I wouldn't have known this if they weren't so selfless enough to share it, put it out there for us.
Information is power.
Yeah.
And not power in terms of a negative idea, but information is powerful, I should say. Yeah. And we in this generation and onwards have such an advantage because information has never been more widely available or freely available than it is right now. There are resources like YouTube, there are podcasts, there are books being written, there is Khan Academy. There's all sorts of things out there that you can go on and learn so much for free. That's why books have always been powerful, because books is where people like Stephen Hawking and general people and bad and good people have recorded information and knowledge. So coming across that is super, it's so beneficial. So whenever we look towards ourselves now, I always say, I know we're in a better position than whoever was before us. So we need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly how
it would be such a waste, because I mean,
dude,
it's always so crazy to think that our generation is one day going to be looked back upon hundreds and thousands of years, because we really are the virgin generation of this technological boom.
We're at the very beginning of it.
And it's so we're at such a pivotal time. I mean, 2,000 years have passed since, we're not going back through BC or whatever, but 2,000 years have passed, and it's like, this has never happened. Anything that's happening right now has never happened before, and we're living through it. And it's such a very interesting age, because I mean, both of us, 96, 97?
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a bit of a glimpse into what it was beforehand, before this all started, And a lot of you guys too, you're probably even older than us, and you've seen what it was like before this. And now you're seeing the transition, and you're going to see, I really think that general AI will be a very real thing in the next 50 years. So you're going to see before, transition, and then boom. And it's going to be such a crazy time, because they'll be looking back hundreds of years and they'll be like, man, these guys were living like this. They got to see it.
Incredible.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. And you don't want to take advantage of it, because it's never happened,
You have to take it. That's the thing. If you look at anything, And that's how it works. Like, I think something we have mentioned before is previous generations of fighters, whether you look at boxers 50, 60 years ago compared to boxers today, MMA fighters 50 years ago compared to today, and so on and so forth. There's a high level, there's a finer attention to detail, because each generation gets to look back at the previous and learn new techniques, new skills, things to avoid, things. So it's just going to improve and improve and improve, and these new phenoms are just going to keep coming out, especially those that are looking at the people in the past and seeing what they did, and then also looking and taking advantage of what happens now.
The passing of the torch.
Yeah.
And the best example is, and I'm so glad they did it, that Anderson Silva versus Adesanya, because that's that old school generation.
Yep.
And then you see the torch getting passed, and you're like, wow, okay, there's a new level to this.
Yeah.
It's a new era. And then it's going to happen again, you know? And then 20, 30 years from now, the same thing's going to happen. And it's so exciting, because it's not just fighting this happens. I'm talking every single thing. Every single genre, every single thing you're interested in, there's a passing of a torch in every part, because people are selfless enough to share the knowledge.
And something I actually wrote down to make sure to mention this, because one of the great books I read this year, I half read it. I really need to go and finish it. I just read the first part of the book, right? Principles.
Oh, okay.
I read the first part, and the second part I skimmed through.
Was the second one the business ones?
I think the second one was business, first part was personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
And the second one I skimmed through. I need to go back and read that from start to finish. But the book Principles by Ray Dalio was amazing, because of what it offered in terms of concept. So his concept, Ray Dalio, and what he passes down is the concept of developing principles from each scenario that you go through in life, and then writing them down, and then utilizing those principles and applying them when you encounter something similar. So an example of this would be for himself. I'll give a super easy example. Okay, one that I applied recently. So a bad habit that I developed this year was running late to things. Everything but training. Everything but training, I'll be running late to, and I really wanted to fix it. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna apply this principle. So why am I running late? Because I'm just not paying attention to the time when I'm engaged in whatever activity I'm at. So I'm like, all right, anytime I know I have to go somewhere, I need to look on Google Maps and figure out how far away it is, how long it's going to take me to get there, and then check my phone and leave on time. It's something probably everyone does, but me, because I was running late to everything. So I just developed a principle. Every time I travel, make sure I see how long it's going to take me to get there, and set an alarm for 5 minutes before that time, and then I just will get up and leave when it's time to go. And he says, let me see if I can remember this quote. So he says, life is like a passing of time along a river, and that river will carry you forward regardless of everything. The river's going to move forward. Before I fuck this one up, let me search it up.
Oh man, I was keen on that one. I'm like, whoa, what's this going to be?
Ray Dalio.
Yeah, it's definitely a good book. If you haven't read it before, it's just one of those, if I could recommend any, and we will in a later episode, that would be absolutely top 10. Principles by Ray Dalio. It's a 2-part book. One's about personal principles, and the second part is business principles.
Okay, so I almost fucked it up, or I kind of did. He says, time is like a river that carries us forward into encounters with reality that require us to make decisions. We can't stop our movement down this river, and we cannot avoid these encounters. We can only approach them in the best possible way. So, in applying that to principles, he says, time is like a river that carries us forward. So, either way, you're going to move forward, and you're going to encounter things. Now, when you encounter those things, you can't really avoid your encounter with that thing. All you can do is encounter it, engage with it, and then move on. Now, let's say you run into rock type A of a certain rock in this river. When you see that certain encounter, watch out for that chord, and then you double check, you engage with that scenario, you develop a principle for it perhaps, and you say, the next time you encounter this particular rock, this particular problem, you already have a principle that you've derived from your previous encounter. So to avoid that mistake, just apply the principle that you've written down and move forward. And as you get older, this is why you should get wiser, because you should have engaged with many different scenarios. And by now, if you are paying or you're conscious of your engagement, you should have certain rules, not rules, but you should have certain understandings of how to deal with something better. That way, by the time you encounter that same problem again, and if you have lived for a long time, you'll have encountered many problems. Hopefully, you have the solution, or you have a principle to assist you in your encounter with these same problems. Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah, that's a good way to think about it. And I think often analogies like that about thinking about a river, it really does make more sense. It makes you think about it. You're like, oh, that makes more.
I'll say it one more time, just because it's like I really do think it's super valuable. Sometimes you hear it twice and it makes more sense. Time is like a river that carries us forward into encounters with reality that require us to make decisions. We cannot stop our movement down the river, and we can't avoid these encounters. We can only approach them in the best possible way.
Exactly.
Such a great quote.
Exactly. Well, let's utilize the quote again. I mean, it's the exact same thing. I run into a problem of, you might lose your leg. You might have 2 years left to live. But if you use the same thing, it's like, it's just another one of those. It's another one of those little problems that comes up, and you just find the best way of dealing with it. You can't stop that it's happened. You just make your own mind up, your own choice, and you say, all right, I can't change that this has happened. This is my reality now. What do I do now?
Yes.
And the best possible way to live, I know, because life is one. Life is one. Whether you have problems or not, it still carries forward. I'm still here, so I'm going to keep making the most of it until my eyes don't open again. Do you know what I mean? And that's all you can do.
I can give a little example of I didn't have that particular concept in my arsenal when I went to Thailand, but I still had a pretty decent approach to problems in terms of something that's also caused me problems in not being stressed out too much by certain situations. So I could rip the whole Thailand gig when I rocked up.
Go through with it. I think people find value out of this, because this is one of those things that I told a few people, and they were like, they even got stressed out hearing it. They're like, I couldn't handle that. I don't know how. But if you explain it and then use your mindset, I think people will understand this better.
So Josh and I traveled to LA last year, was it? Yeah?
Yes.
Last year for the Worlds, where we all lost. And then I had planned to go straight to Thailand right after on my own. So my first time, I wanted to travel on my own completely and just experience it. I booked a trip for 1 month in Thailand, accommodation away from the gym. And I had withdrawn all my money in US dollars, and I'd kept it in a bum bag. And I remember this, I can say this in terms of principles and avoiding mistakes if you listen to advice. So my dad at the airport, my dad said to me, he saw my bum bag and he goes, oh, watch out with that, because it's so easy to lose that. And where you're going, people can cut it and take it. I'm like, oh yeah, no dramas. I didn't really pay too much attention. But he's like, no, really, get your money, put it in your luggage or put it somewhere else or keep it on your card. I'm like, okay, cool. Had the bum bag, traveled to LA, nothing went wrong. I didn't expect anything to go wrong. Money was fine. Trip finishes, it's my turn to go to Thailand. I'm at the airport. First of all, I fucked up the booking by not booking it on the same day. So I go to the airport with Josh, Troy, who else was there? Was Simon there? Soli was there, a few other guys from Limitless. And they're all departing at the end of the trip and they're going to LA. And at the airport, I realized, oh shit, like my flight is the next day. So everyone just says bye, jumps on the plane and goes, and I'm just there in LA on my own. I'm like, oh, I'm here for a day. And I remember my plan to save money was, I'm just going to sleep at the airport. I'm just going to sleep at the airport, stay there the whole night. It's 24 hours anyway, no one's going to realize. And it just got impossible after a few hours, especially if, I can get so restless. And I was like, fuck this, I'm going to get a hotel. And I went with my cash, got a little hotel, and I stayed there for the night. It was just across the road from the airport. Wake up, catch my flight, a few stopovers. The flight already fucked up by they stopped over for like an extra hour in China. So then we had to wait for ages, jump off, and then stay at the airport for like 9 hours, jet lagged, jump on another flight, and then finally get to Thailand. It's funny, that's where I met Brooke Farrell. Farrell, yeah, she's cool because we're on the same flight together. Her and Eddie, her partner, live and fight in Thailand. They're two Aussies, awesome people. But anyway, I get off the flight, and I also remember like my dad always saying, when you get into a new country, find the mosque at the airport and just pray 2 rakats for some sort of blessings, to be safe and enjoy your trip. So I went straight to the place to pray. I remember making wudu, which is like just like ablution, like washing. And then I pray, get up, go outside, wait for a taxi. Like it's super late at night. It's like 12 a.m. Hop in a taxi, and off I go to my destination. And like about maybe 10 minutes before we get there, I start looking around. I'm like, I'm gonna have to pay this guy. Let me get my money out. And I'm like, fuck, I can't find my little bum bag. And it had everything in there. All my cards. It had everything except for my passport, which my passport I kept in my pocket for some reason. It had everything gone. License, everything. And then I'm like, shit, it's not here. Fuck. In my head, I'm like, all right, this is pretty shit. I'm like, I'm just not going to say anything to the taxi driver until we get there. Because at worst case scenario, at least I'm at my destination. So then we rock up, and I'm like to him, I think it's in my bag. And I kind of thought maybe I had put it away. So I start looking through. It's not there. And so for some reason, I came up with this stupid idea. I'm like, it's all good. I don't have cash. I got my card, though. Just take me to an ATM. So he takes me to an ATM, and I'm standing there like an idiot with no card. And I'm just like poking away at the buttons. I'm like, yeah, hoping he's not looking over. No card. 0% chance any money's coming out into my hand. Get back to the taxi. I'm like, my card's not working. Just take me back to the hotel, and I'll fix you up the next day. So we get in the car, and then he just starts driving, and it's not in the direction that we're going. And he's driving away for a solid like 15, 20 minutes. We only drove 5 minutes to go to the ATM. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, hey, are we going back to the condo where I'm staying? And he's just like talking in Thai on the phone to someone. He's like super aggressive on the phone, getting angry, and keeps looking back at me. I'm like, is this guy gonna I'm like, You know when you think like with your leg, it goes, is that situation? That's the shit situation that no one encounters.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I gonna get fucking kidnapped here? What's going on? So I'm like, all right, if we don't get there by 1 a.m., 1:30, I'm gonna strangle this guy from the back. I'm like, at least the car will crash, but at least I'll be safe somehow. Yeah. I'm like, okay. Then we pull up. I go, mate, take me back there now. I guarantee you we're gonna have cash. And then we pull up. We arrive, and then he starts speaking English. And I go, fuck. The whole time I'm talking to this guy, he's acting like he only speaks Thai. And he's getting super angry, like very few English. He starts speaking perfect English with an accent. He's like, all right, show me your license. I take photo. I'm like, I don't have my license. I mean, I don't know where it is. He's like, okay, passport. Because he's seen my passport I had in my hand. And he just, in the moment, I can't believe I let him do this. He just like takes it out, takes a photo of the passport, and then he leaves. He goes, okay, I'm coming back here tomorrow, 10 a.m. Make sure you have the money for the taxi. And I'm just like, thank fuck I'm out of this situation. I'm like, yeah, cool, thanks, no dramas. Hop out of the taxi, get all my luggage out, and then I'm like, well, now I'm stuck here with no accommodation. I can't get into the place. Another stupid thing, the guy I booked it with wasn't there. He was supposed to meet me to let me in. No one's there. It's 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., and there's no one there. I'm stuck in Thailand with just my luggage, no money. Also, by the way, I lost my iPhone in America. You remember that?
Yeah.
Or I broke it, by jumping in the pool with it. Ooh. And then I had this shitty little Samsung that dies every 8 to 10 minutes. So I had to keep it connected to a rechargeable battery. So I'm stuck there, and I remember just thinking to myself, like, this is pretty shit. Like, pretty not a very good situation. I'm like, I'm stuck here, no cash, no nothing. And I'm like, I don't want someone to jump me because there's shady people walking around. It's time like up and down the street and whatnot. So I'm like, let me hide my luggage so no one looks. I don't look like a traveler. I'm like, I look kind of Asian. I can just blend in, hide my shit. Time passes, phone dies. I don't have the battery with me. I'm like, fuck, I don't know. When you lose track of time in that situation, in a new country, jet lag, missing flights, and with everything that's happened, I don't know how long time goes for. So I start going like a bit crazy. I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. The situation is what it is. I'm like, all I can do is think about what I will do. Let me see. I'll just wait. Eventually, the sun will rise. There'll be some light. I go, I can ask for food. I'm sure people will be good. Like, ask for food, ask for water, ask for help. Get on the phone. Someone will have a phone. I'm sure someone will speak English. It'll be fine. So I just start waiting it out. Then I start going crazy. So I go to my luggage. I get a book. I start reading a book. And the book saved my life. It was called The Fog. It's a pretty good fiction novel. And I start reading this book because it takes my mind off everything. The books, I'm just flying through it. And there's only one light bulb, one lamppost lit like a few hundred meters down the street. I'm like, yeah, I'll risk it. I'll walk over there. So I walk over there. I start reading the book under the light. I don't know how long passed. Suddenly I just hear like a fizzle and then pop. And the bulb just pops. And I'm like, I should have seen it coming because no other light on the street is lit except for this one. I'm like, this must be a fucking thing that happens all the time. But that was the closest I came to snapping in that situation. Because after everything that happened, I thought I had it handled. I'm going to read the book, wake up. I'm like, I remember just sitting there, close my eyes for like a solid 10 seconds, close the book slowly, and I'm just like, just breathing. And I'm like, this is so shit. And I'm like, all right, well, either way, it's not a bad situation. People have escaped being kidnapped and shit. I mean, this is nothing compared to some shit situations. I go, I got this. Close the book, go away. Eventually a security guard comes. They're meant to have 24-hour security at this condo, which they obviously didn't because the security guard rocks up close to when the sun rises. It doesn't speak English, but I can kind of converse with him in Thai. Managed to get my phone charged and on, find the guy's number I'm meant to call. He communicates with him. The guy comes down, and then the guy goes, I'll be there in like 4 hours. So now I'm just like, okay, cool. At least the sun's starting to rise. I see monks walking in the streets and shit. I'm like, this is better. So we finally get through that night. The guy lets me in, go upstairs, and everyone says don't drink the tap water and whatnot. I just went straight to the tap water, and I just smashed like about a liter, and I just jump on the bed, fall asleep. It was such bliss walking into that air-conditioned room. There was mosquitoes and shit biting me outside for how long? What a shit few nights. Sounds like. So it's like first night in Thailand, homeless, no money, whatever. Doesn't even end there. So I sleep, miss out on this 10 a.m. thing, the taxi driver. Fuck it. I never ran into him again, which was good. And I rock up and I wake up and I'm like, well, it's not all over. I need money. I'm like completely broke here in Thailand. And I messaged my parents. Thank fuck they send me some cash over. I'm like, they can't even send it to me through an account because I don't have any cards or anything. So they have to send it through Western Union. So thank goodness my parents are immigrants and are used to sending money back home because they know how to work with the Western Union and whatnot. Yeah. They send money that cash over somehow and I have to go find a Western Union and it's like a few kilometers away. And on my Google Maps, my phone dies all the time. So I just screenshot the little squiggle. Just a squiggle, like a blue line from where I am to thing. And I just start walking. And after walking for ages, like I'm like, fuck, I'm lost because it's like half city, half like forest. I'm like, what's going on? You know how like a little village type thing? And I see Big C, like in the distance, like a big B-I-G and a letter C, which is the name of the supermarket. And that's where the Western Union is. And I'm like, thank fuck. I let my phone die, put it in my pocket, and I just start walking beeline straight for the Big C. And like an hour later, I get there and go in, get my money. Lucky I had my passport. That's the only form of ID they accept. Got the cash, went to KFC, smashed out some food, walked home. Got a taxi home. I was like, fuck this. I'm not walking. Taxi, went back, got a scooter. There we go.
And life kicked on.
Life kicked on.
But that's just one of those things, you know. It's like you really have to find that resilience within you. Otherwise, what are you doing? You're done. You know
and then when I told people, I remember telling my coach, I didn't even tell my mum on the phone what really happened because I know she'd be super stressed more than I would. But I'll tell my coach, he goes, Sam, I guarantee you, he goes, it's so like I can tell you many other people will be in that situation and they're just like it's so easy to just start crying, lose your shit, like what's going on. I'm like, well, there's nothing I can do. I remember thinking to myself, there's nothing I can do, or what is the next best action? I remember thinking, what is the next best action? Because I feel like there's nothing I can do. And that just made me think, like, what's the next best action? Thinking anything else is not going to help. Yeah. So I just started thinking, what's the next best action? I'm like, all right, wait. Okay, sunrise, you could steal food. You could ask for help. You could ask for food. You could do whatever. I'm like, this will be good. This will pass. And we solved it. And then that was one of the big things that made me, like, most other situations, I'm like, well, it's not that bad. I'm like, I know that's not even that crazy of a situation as well, but it was enough for me to be like, all right, most other problems I encounter anywhere else are not that crazy.
Exactly.
You solve them.
So you're just gaining perspective.
Yeah.
You gain perspective, and then you're like, well, it's another one of if you find yourself in another position, you're like, all right, it's another one of these. Let's go. How am I going to solve this?
And imagine being homeless in Thailand for like a month. That would have been pretty
Yeah, a month.
That would
Wow.
be crazy because then it's like you figure out so much shit. Get
I
your
would
shit
think
together.
if I was home for over 2 days, I'd be like, all right, I need to go to like a monastery because I feel like the monks would just take care of you.
Monastery, a church, a mosque, pretty much any religious place. That's such a good thing. It's like a
Yeah.
little place of safety. You know, they'll give you some food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just find your way from there. But yeah, it's just one of those things, you know. And we're gonna have countless other things that's gonna happen in the future, you know.
Yeah.
So it's just good to gain that perspective and be like, all right, how am I gonna do this? How do I solve this problem? But yeah, it's just one of those principles, like we're talking about Principles by Ray Dalio.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. You develop these concepts and these principles, and then you apply them to everything else that happens in your life. You know what I mean?
There you go, because it's like, also that little story can highlight a few other things. Another thing we talk about is advice in this simulation is a cheat code. Advice is a cheat code. It's a little hack. It's a gift of experience wrapped up and passed on to you that you don't have to go through the shit experience.
Yeah.
So if you can develop the skill of listening and taking advice, because all of us are a little bit resilient to advice in some form, you can benefit heaps. Something I've learned to do and I'm learning to do. So next time I travel, what my dad tells me, I'm going to be like, yep, or whatever else. I just remember not really thinking it's a big deal. It's a bum bag, whatever. But I'm like, okay, do not withdraw all my cash and keep it. It's such a stupid thing to do.
But now you will never let yourself do that again.
Ever.
Because you've learnt the hard way. Do you know what I mean?
You get the experience, yeah, you move on.
Exactly. And I mean, yeah, it could have been just a simple one, like, all right, Dad said it, I'm not going to do it. But I mean, you probably would have been like, oh, you know, it wouldn't have been that bad.
And it was a good little testing. Yeah, it was a good little testing ground for myself. And also, I mean, you have countless stories that people find pretty funny or crazy. Everyone does have their own.
Yeah.
If you have a certain type of personality, go out and try shit. So I'm telling you, you'll hear some funny shit from us. But that was one of those tests for myself that I was like, okay, I took some positives from it, because I was like, all right, I know I can deal with most pretty stressful situations. You know, I had no money, lost. It started fucking way back in LA when I booked the wrong flight, and I'm stuck there from day one. I'm like, yeah, I could solve that.
Yeah.
Like, I know I can deal with some stress. Yeah.
Hey, do you remember? I've got another one actually. Now that I'm thinking about it. Do you remember when I was telling you? Because me and you are both pretty bad with this, but I think I've had like 19 different jobs since I left school.
Oh, dude, we've had so many jobs.
Like just finding ways to scramble and make money and do whatever we have to do. I remember there's this one point in time where I didn't have a job for like 6 months. I just couldn't get one. I'm like, what the hell is going on? And this is before like business and whatever. I'm like, shit, all right, I need some money. And I just found one of those ads. I won't mention any business names or anything, but like those clinical trials they do, those clinical studies. And I remember like, all right, let's just do a clinical study.
I've been on that email list.
And I'll go in there and simple, you fill out the forms, there's a risk of death, whatever. I'm like, because they're all trial drugs. This is where they do the experiments, live experiments on humans for the first time. And there was this one for this type of migraine, and they were testing like brain scans and whatever to see if they could initiate this drug, put it out on the market. And I remember going in and then doing the testing, talking with the doctor, and he's like, all right, cool, we'll put you through. He's like, are you allergic to anything? And I'm allergic to amoxicillin. It's a type of antibiotic, so I can't have any antibodies, which is actually good because it fucks your stomach. And I'm like, I'm allergic to this. And he's like, I'm going to have to exclude you from the test because we can't have this. Like the drug that you need to take during the testing is an antibiotic, and I would have an allergic reaction to it, so I wasn't allowed to be on the testing. And I'm like, I remember taking a photo of the company that was initiating the trials, and I just wanted to see. So I followed up the study afterwards. I'm like, let's see if I dodged a bullet here or not. And no shit, dude, they had 3 people in that cohort die.
Really?
Yeah, dude. And I'm like, that was the first time they ever had any deaths as well in all their testing studies. And I'm like, no fucking way. Because I remember on my way out when they excluded me, when they excluded me, I walked into the wrong room and it was fucking crazy, dude. There was just rows of beds laid out with people like drugged up. I was watching one dude get injected with something, and the nurses were in there, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Like one of those things out of a movie.
Yeah, and then I remember as the guy was about to inject his arm, he like see me, and I'm standing there like shocked, like, what is this? And he goes, who put you in here? Like, who led you in here? I'm like, oh, I wrong room. He's like, get out. And I'm like, all right. So I leave, and I'm like, this is weird. And that's why I decided to look up the study.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I had 3 people die from that study. And I'm like, holy shit, I dodged a bullet.
Man, I've been on that email list for so long, and I've never got around to doing it. But I've gotten to the stage where I'd get the phone calls.
Yeah.
I'd reply yes or call them or whatever, and I just never ended up really following through with any of them. But now I'm not.
Bad idea. Bad idea.
It's not worth it.
But exactly,
Yeah.
because you got to really think like.
The reason I do it was at the same stage you do it. When you go to that 6 months no work and you're like, oh shit. All right, what do I do?
Yeah, I've done it
What do I
again.
do?
Damn it. Yeah, but this is one of those things where you got to think like, all right, everything is temporary. This problem that I'm in, this especially money, man. Financial problems should be the least of your worries. They just
Everything
come
will
and it
pass,
comes and
yeah.
goes like that. You could do one thing, make a bet, you do this, you win a fight, whatever, and bang, here's
That's
60k cash. You're like, oh shit.
Honestly, that's just how it goes.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
everything's temporary. If you find yourself in any rut, especially financial, you make it work.
You know what? I feel like because this is an episode where me and you are, it's probably our last episode for the year. It looks like.
Yeah, it's a good shit. Yeah, I believe it is. Yeah.
23rd. Shit. It's our last episode for the year. So with that, we're not gonna. I don't want to be corny and go like New Year thing, but let's go. If I'm gonna ask you a question, people can benefit from. What would be your advice for 2020 for people, and for yourself, for me too? How to benefit most from 2020? How to
Okay.
benefit most from 2020? That's the question.
All right. So I'm going to keep this short and simple as well, but I'm just going to give you straight up exactly what I'm going to do. So obviously I've had a massive bomb that's been dropped on me this year, and I'm just thinking for all of 2020, my main goal is to go and travel because I haven't traveled very much yet. By myself, I want to do a lot of it by myself. So for 2020, all that's going through my head since this has happened is you're not here forever. Don't worry about your new you, new me. I'm going to get fit. I'm going to progress in my career, whatever. I'm not saying live like it's your last day, but I'm just saying, because I don't think that's realistic at all. I just think, just realize that you're temporary. This is finite and you will pass one day. So just make the most of the year in terms of things that, I always think about this. In my head, I have like two big things I would really love to do. You know, I would really love to maybe win. In my head right now, two things I would love to do. I want a belt strapped around my waist in some sort of fighting career, kickboxing, whatever. I want to get that belt strapped around me, and I want to go and travel. And number three is I want to really do well with this podcast.
Yeah.
And they're the three things I think about. So what am I doing? All right. I'm right here, right now. I'm putting out the podcast in the best format, most genuine part of me that I'm putting out there. I'm exposing myself, all my insecurities and weaknesses. I'm putting them all out there. So I'm doing that. I'm going to go and travel, and then I'm working towards making this comeback a real thing and get back in the ring in one stage or another. If it's
I'll
not
be
that,
right there
then
as well. Pad holding will work. We'll get more
Yeah.
working like we used to.
we'll
back
do what
in
we
the
have to
past.
do to make it work. So all I'm saying is that big idea that's in your head, do it right now. Do it now.
Yes.
Don't think like, 3 years from now, this is going to happen. For example, if Sam's goal is to be a world championship fighter, it's not like, all right, 3 years from now. It's right now, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. He's had a belt strapped around his waist. He's had the taste of it.
Yep.
You work towards it now because you're a champion long before the belt gets strapped around you.
100%. The way I see it is this. If you go, I watched this weird ass video ages ago on 1D, 2D, 3D, 4D, and like fifth, like they're saying like how many different dimensions there are, and it explained it real well in terms of physics. It wasn't some woo woo bullshit. So I realized, wait, the world champion version of myself already exists, like a little bit down a timeline. It's already there because time, if you think about time as I forgot I'm not going to think of the terminology they use in physics, but whatever that terminology is, I'll put in the description. Think about time in that format. Who you are and what you did 10 years ago it exists. It's out there 10 years ago. What you're doing now is now, and what you're going to do is already there. Like the world champion version of yourself is already out there. It's a matter of doing the things and getting it there. So like you said, you can't think, all right, well, I'll do that thing one day. I'll get to that person. No, you do it now. You be that person now. Like you do the training, you win the fights, you learn the experience, you lose, you benefit, you do everything now. You build the character you need that you see yourself. You can envision how you want to be, how you want to act, and you can work on those things and do those things and be those things. So to summarize your thing, I'll try and see what I can summarize from it. You were saying that, number one, for 2020, realize that time is finite. And that can mean two things. One, like spend time with your loved ones and enjoy and live life, but also capitalize and do things now, because there's no other better time than right now. Like just do things now. Another gem that is a quote that we always talk about, those little gems, was the best time to act was yesterday. Yeah. That's another great one. So
No. Doesn't Warren
How's it
Buffett
go?
say
What
the
does he
best
say?
time to plant a seed for the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The second best time is right now.
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
That's the best way to. That's a great quote. That's a great thing to take away. Another thing you said was, yeah, we touched on it. Take action now.
Yeah.
My one would be to go on that 2020 vibe. First, I'll say for me in 2020, I've got a lot of goals like you have, and some of them I keep to myself, like yourself. Just a lot of training, do well with the podcast, and just continue to make a lot of progress. I feel like now is a good time to learn from a lot of. This year, we learn a lot, like we do every year. At the end of the year, we're like, fuck, what a year. But that's how it is.
Yeah.
So this year, I feel like I learned a lot, particularly in fighting, what I need to do to get to where I'm going to get to. So now it's a matter of fixing up those little things, training-wise, lifestyle-wise, mindset, focus, a lot of the same goals. In terms of other tips, I could say in general, I've become a lot more structured this year, utilizing my calendar. I'm constantly on that thing, otherwise I don't get anything done when I need to. So I'm going to continue that, and I would recommend people try to get a little bit more structure, organization into whatever it is you're trying to do. I would also say,
Like those realistic goals as well.
Yeah.
'Cause sometimes you set, I'm going to do this, and this across all different aspects of your life. And then by the end of the year, I'm sure right now, a lot of people are looking at their 2019 goals and they're like,
whoops.
damn, what was I thinking?
Like,
Just
and
keep it simple,
yeah.
you know, like keep it simple and you'll get it done.
Keep
Don't-
it simple and start straight away. Like
Yeah.
that's simple. And by straight away, I mean as soon as you listen to this and you have some time, like right now. And me and you say all the time, there's no such real thing as 2020 to me and you. It's refreshing to have a new little slate. It gives you that vibe of like, new year. You feel like there's more. But in reality, it's like whatever it is I want to do 2020, I'm starting doing now.
Yeah.
Everyone has the same shit. Get the money right. Get the mind right. Maybe read some books. I'm gonna read these. Like this year, I said I was gonna read how many books? I read way less books than what I said.
Yeah.
Like embarrassingly less books. But now in the last 2 months, I probably read more books at a quicker pace than I did earlier, because I just said, we just start reading. Like it's that simple. Just start reading. You put the goal, I'm gonna start reading in 2020. Just do it. Pick up a book and start reading it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing as well, that when people say certain things like, I want to read X amount of books, what are you really saying? You're really saying, I want to have this knowledge in this particular thing.
Engage.
The best way to do it is, one, to engage in it and go and do it.
Simple
You're
as
learning
that.
about finance, you want to learn to invest, all right,
Yeah.
open up an account and start investing. Get real life experience from that. I'm not saying go in it blindly. Yeah, read a book, but just
take action.
Exactly,
Man,
take the
something
action.
Josh and I are both really good at is taking action. Something that's helped us massively. We've got a lot of stories on how taking action has made us learn a lot of harsh lessons and good lessons. But take action. Why? Because the consequences of your little failure at the end of the day are never really that fucking great. Like, big deal.
Exactly.
Look at the money we've put into Tiki. None of it wasted.
No.
That money was either going to go on anything else, whether eating out with friends, going out, traveling, whatever. Like, it's been put into an investment of time, knowledge, and research, and we've learned. So like, there's never really a big drawback.
Exactly, and that's our ROI. Our ROI was never to make the money. It was just, we wanted the experience. We said to ourselves, let's learn about business. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
That's how Tiki started. It was a unique way, and the more I think about it, the more I talk to other business people, whatever, entrepreneurs, is we just said to ourselves, we're going to start. And the reason was to learn. We go, man, we really need to learn about business. I'm like, fuck, let's just start something so we can figure it out. That's what we said. Like, let's just use this as a degree. Let's just learn by engaging. And yeah.
And now here we are. And the same thing with the podcast. I mean, you want to see some live experience being learned. I mean, you're listening to it all right now. Look at our first episode on our YouTube. I stuffed it up. I used the film clip of the phone, whatever. But you're looking at us learn. Each episode's going to get better. I know this has been the best one so far, episode 3, but I mean, same thing, like 2020, we've got some goals to put out. We've got a list of some people we're going to get on, and I understand that most people are interested in the guests that you bring on the podcast. Yeah, for sure. I want you to engage with our guests, and we're going to engage with our guests, and we're going to learn a lot along the way. And it's great for you guys to be along with it and learn with us. You're going to learn through our process like we do with everything else, but this time we have an audience to follow through and learn just as much as we are. But they also, I want you to take a lot away from just me and Sam going through this.
Yeah.
Because, we're going to have guests on. You're going to learn from them. And at the same
we'll
time...
be as transparent as possible.
Exactly.
So
we're here too. We're an open
we'll
book.
fuck up. We'll make mistakes. Another thing is, we should stop swearing on the podcast so we can... Because there's like a thing you got to tick, explicit or not. Because we keep dropping swear words, we keep forgetting to...
Yeah, and I don't know how to edit that out.
That's another example. Look, and the way we started this, literally, Josh and I were like, "Oh man, we should start a podcast." And then I think Josh said to me, "Oh, are you free tomorrow?" I'm like, "Yeah, what time?" Okay, cool. Done. Rocked up, recorded the podcast. Did we have mics? I don't think we even had mics.
We recorded our first 10 episodes on a phone.
On a phone. No microphone, nothing. A phone on a... If you could see,
that
I'm going to take
right
a photo
now.
of this setup and I'm going to send it to... I'm going to put it out later on.
Yeah,
That
phone right there is all we had. So anyone watching it there, that's it. We just put it down and
we got
started.
the mixer. Our first mixer we messed up.
Yeah, we've got the mixer now. We've got the boom arms. We've got the pop filters, the mics.
Get in there, mate.
We've got the software going. You've got the editing software and the recording software.
Each episode, yeah.
It's getting better and better.
I will say, and we could have probably even ended on this, unless there's anything else you want to throw in. It's been super refreshing because we said, both of us at the start, we want to just do the podcast, no expectations. But as usual, with our kind of competitive mindset and achieving mindset, we want to push it to as far as we can get it. Just do it without having anything else attached to it. Like, it's just fun to come in and do it because we chat anyway. So
yeah,
that's how it started.
I'll leave it on this note. So 1, take action, and number 2, I'll give you a little quick anecdote. The other day, I'm driving on my way home, and I watch a guy hit a kangaroo in front of me. And I get out of the car. I'm like, all right, let's do what we got to do. It's flopping around the ground. He gets out. I'm standing over this kangaroo, and I'm like, all right, you got to finish it. And he's stressing out. He's standing there holding his head. And he's like, oh shit. I'm like, you're gonna finish it, bro. You can't let it struggle like this. You did it. You got to finish it. And he goes, I'm late for work. I got to go. Drives off. Leaves me in the middle of the road. I stop the traffic. Put the car out. I'm like, all right, shit. How am I gonna do this? Like, I can't let this animal suffer like this. And then I go to pick it up. I grab a jumper out, I go to pick it up, and then it starts hopping away. Trying to hop away, but its legs bent backwards, bleeding out of its head. I'm like, shit. And it hops off onto the nature strip, and I go up to it, and I'm like, oh, damn it, what do I do? Do I choke it out? I don't want to see it suffer like this. And then
RNC.
Yeah, and I'm just holding my hand on its belly, just just feeling it, and I'm just feeling its heartbeat through my hand, and I'm feeling it pulse up my wrist and up my arm. Just feeling it, and then I just had a few moments to it, listening to it breathe, slowly breathing, and then I felt in my hand like the heart slowly stop in my hands, listening to the breathing, and I'm like, oh shit, and I just listened and felt that life slip away, and I'm like, whoa, I didn't expect that to ever happen. And the first thing I thought was like, because once I'd held the body after it, and I already felt the life slip away, I'm like, it's not there anymore. It's a body. It's not, the soul's gone. And then that just really reiterates what I've been thinking this whole time, that, I mean, life is one. Life is one. The journey continues on, and just keeps transpiring into different forms, and we always move on. So, I mean, I'll end it with that, because this whole form of you drop a bomb that, I've got some sort of cancerous tumour in my leg, but that's not the end. It's never the end. Do you know what I mean? Life is one, and we move forward. In any other sense of it, if life's a game, then I'm gonna keep playing it. You know,
simple as, honestly, if life's a game, keep playing it, and we're good at games, so we just get better at it.
That's it. Life is one, baby. We'll see you next year.